I'm Mark Seifter.
And I'm Linda Zayas Palmer.
And this is Linda's Plushie Corner.
Hi, everybody. Today our guest is Plushie Corner, the most popularly voted episode of all time, which is apparently me just self-indulgently rambling about how much I love plushies. So, thanks for voting for this. I've been looking forward to this, and this is going to be fun. So, you may be wondering why there is an image of a TV guide in the plushie corner of the interview here, when a TV guide is most definitively not a plushie.
It definitely isn't. I have confirmed.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the this September 1991 issue of TV Guide was 2.5-year-old me's absolute favorite thing ever. I don't know why I decided that I was attached to this. My parents don't know why I decided that I was attached to this, but this increasingly shriveled and drool-stained and destroyed scrap of paper, baby me decided I could not sleep without it. So move forward to the time when a hotel maid quite reasonably concludes that this shredded scrap of paper is in fact garbage, and takes the reasonable action of throwing it in the trash. Cue 2.5-year-old me having a screaming fit and being inconsolable for multiple days straight. At which point my desperate mom sent my dad out to purchase this. Darkwing Duck, my very first ever plushie obsession. This is not the picture of the literal actual one, but it's the closest I can find. My parents still have the original, and by the original I mean the second one, because like many well-loved plushies, at some point along the line it receives a facelift when the parents, sick of dealing with the drool-stained plush, buy an identical one and tell their child that it's the same thing, and they just fixed it. So, I'll note that I didn't actually watch Darkwing Duck at this time. I was just obsessed with the character. Although
Have you ever watched
yes,
Darkwing Duck?
Although in the years since, I got some VHS tapes and watched to death the 2-part pilot and one other episode pair from the first season. I remember that they were in a kind of pinkish purple VHS case and a orange case. And beyond that, I don't actually remember the contents of the episodes for how many times I made my parents watch them.
Fair enough.
Yeah, this is Darkwing Duck, my first plushie obsession. This one I actually have. This is my Piglet. Piglet's ear has been stained for I don't even possibly know how long, but I got Piglet at Disney World when I was a little girl. I always identified with Piglet, particularly as a little kid, because I was an extremely anxious child who was basically petrified of the idea of talking to anyone that wasn't part of my immediate family. And I thought that Piglet was not only small, like me, but also just, even though Piglet was scared, Piglet got out there and did things. So I found that inspiring, and yeah. So I got this Piglet plushie in Disney World, and I picked it up on one of my more recent trips to my parents' house to collect some of my old stuff.
Now that you're grown up, you're not afraid that you'll be blown away on a blustery day.
Nope. I still deal with anxiety, but it's way better managed than it was when I was little, for sure. So yeah, this is little Linda's Piglet. So looking at the tag, if I got it in Disney World, I probably had this since, I either got this when I was like 5 or I got it when I was 9, and I'm not sure, because those were the 2 times that I traveled to Disney World. But either way, this guy's been with me for multiple decades, so whoop, Piglet. Speaking of plushies that I've had for a while, those are my 2 oldest ones for sure. But some other ones that I got.
The great old ones.
They're the great old ones. I mean, yes, I had some. There's other ones that are still at my parents' house, but those 2 are special. Next up, we have Companion Cube. Companion Cube lives at work. This was a part of a pair of 2 companion cubes, one of which is at my desk at work and one of which is at my dad's desk at work, because he and I had a lot of fun with the Portal series. We would sit on the couch and strategize together about how we were going to defeat the tough levels. So this one always reminds me of gaming with my dad. And my dad's really the one who got me into gaming. I mean, there's pictures of me as an infant playing Tetris with an original Nintendo controller in my hand because he just wanted to prove that, like, oh, look, she's playing, she's gaming.
In theory, you could move the blocks left and right. I'm sure it wouldn't have been a good idea to move it wherever you were moving it.
I didn't say I played well. He also, but I mean, he taught me how to game, and we definitely gamed together. I had game with my mom too. When he was at work, we play 2-player games, and we take turns in 1-player games, like Zombies Ate My Neighbors. We play together. We played a lot of Super Metroid, and
weren't there Metroid make-believe games?
Yes.
Where, like,
well, there were
somebody was
make-believe
a
games
Metroid?
about everything. Yes. No, there were make-believe games about absolutely everything.
What does a Metroid do in a make-believe game?
I don't remember, but I'm sure I had an answer when I was little.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I apparently used to wake my mom up every morning by asking her what character she wanted to be, and then insist that we played through the beginning of the day in character, and we would stay in character for a decent chunk of the time, and then, like, obviously when we went out, she's like, okay, we can't do this because we're out in public. You can't literally be a character from Little House on the Prairie, or, like, you can't be Diddy Kong while you're out in public. But, yeah, so I guess I was also really into role-playing from an early age. I was super imaginative, and I liked playing pretend all the time.
I mean, Laura Ingalls Wilder went out into the public.
That's true, but, not me going out in my apron, in my Little House on the Prairie apron with, like, the little frills on the bottom and the giant, like, I don't know. It would be a little weird if I was talking in character in public. Of course, I do it all the time now, but just at a table,
Yes, well, I guess that's true. It's called actual play.
Yes.
Because it's actual.
So this next one here is an alpaca named Elkie. I don't know why we picked an alpaca. We decided to name the alpaca Elkie specifically. I know that Elkie is named after, I got this one from a friend in high school. Elkie is made from, has real alpaca wool on the outside. I see a comment, squeals and thirsty. Yes, actually, I made a habit of any time that Thirsty was working in the office, the physical Paizo office, which he'd sometimes do when he is visiting right before PaizoCon or something like that, I would welcome him by moving Elkie over and putting Elkie on Thirsty's desk.
Didn't you also sometimes have Elkie be of emotional support to other people at the company?
Elkie is so soft and fluffy that Elkie has also served as an emotional support alpaca to several of my coworkers when they were having a hard time. And they can vouch for the fact that Elkie is indeed helpful. Elkie is super soft. Elkie is currently, sadly, at work, which is why Elkie is coming to you from pictures, like a lot of these other ones will be. But yeah, I got Elkie from a friend in high school, and Elkie is named after the stuffed animal of one of my PC's younger sisters, and I don't know why I decided. I think I must have just thought about that at the time, because Elkie is a stuffed animal of an elk, and I don't know.
An elk is not exactly the same as an alpaca.
An elk is not an alpaca, but I just thought Elkie was cute, and so I decided to name alpaca that. So that's Elkie. This one is not...
Was it during the crossover Christmas adventure where Elkie, the stuffed alpaca, came to life and then teamed up with the stuffed animals from Council of Thieves?
Oh, it may have been that. So, Mark and I play quite a bit of one-player, one-GM gaming, and some of those have been little adorable one-shots, and one of them was the Soulbound dolls from Council of Thieves plus Elkie the alpaca plush go on an adventure. There was also the one that was, what was it, the Curious Case of the Dastardly Ape or something like that?
Yes, it was the Mightiest Dragon.
Oh, yes.
And the Case of the Treacherous Ape.
The Mightiest Dragon and the Case of the Treacherous Ape, yes.
That was a one-shot adventure I wrote for the game that I was playing in that Linda was running of Skull and Shackles, that was an entire adventure all about how one of the PCs, Tidepool Dragon Familiar, thought that the other PC's Coral Capuchin Familiar was stealing from him, but there was actually gremlins on the ship that were trying to curse some of the magic items in the hold to, like, destroy the ship.
And then afterwards, Mark was
and
like,
Linda played
I just want to do this
Linda
adventure.
played as the dragon.
It's not necessarily canon or whatever. And then afterwards, I'm like, what do you mean this isn't necessarily canon? This is 100% canon. And we started the next session with the PCs reacting to hearing the story from both familiars' perspective on what had happened.
Because the Tidepool Dragon Familiar of one of my characters is Linda's favorite character in that campaign.
Mm-hmm. So this next plushie here is Mama Hedgehog and two baby hedgehogs. This actually is one of Mark's plushies from when he was growing up. So I'm curious, do you have any stories about this one?
Well, I mean, not particularly. I think it was one of those things that you could get. Maybe it was offered as a reward for, like, some kind of tiered school thing where you got a certain amount of something in school. I can't remember what it was. It was, like, pretty early on.
Mm-hmm.
And it shares a special distinction along with another friend that we have in here that is not a picture, Radar the Bat, as being just two things that Linda found very cute from my early plushies, and we brought over to live with us, and so they were the only ones that did not burn in a fire when my house burned down. So I used to have a fairly large number of plushies when I was little too, but now my only ones are Mama Hedgehog and the baby hedgehogs and Radar, who
I'm sure I'll find Radar in a moment. I have a giant
Did you find Radar when you found the other ones?
Yeah, I found Radar
sure?
when I found the other ones. I have a giant pile of plushies here, and Radar's one of the smaller ones, so I'm going to need to take some time to sort through them to find that.
Okay.
But yeah, the Mama Hedgehog has a little zipper on her belly, so the babies can fit in there. And they're super cute. So, yeah, that is Hedgie. Peter Rabbit. This is a Peter Rabbit that I got from my mom as a gift whenever Mark and I moved out to the Seattle area. That was right around the time we got that. This came in a package along with a very appropriate and very much used and loved raincoat.
Yep, I think there's also, like, a Beatrix Potter, like, paper pad in there too.
And some other Beatrix Potter themed things. Because I was super into Beatrix Potter as a little girl. And I had a big collection of Beatrix Potter plushies. Perhaps my favorite of which was a Peter Rabbit. That Peter Rabbit had, like, a little wind-up thing in him. This one's a more standard plushie, but this is my Peter Rabbit now. And Peter Rabbit is, as usual, at work. Let's see. So next in our category of stuff is we begin with the Leshies. So if you have watched my previous Linda's Leshie Corner episode, or just one of the other few times that I've just decided to bring this plushie on anyway, this is Sunflower Leshie. Sunflower Leshie was hand crocheted by Paula Simone, who is the wife of Jason Keeley at Paizo, and she is super mega cute. The little sunflower petals are attached to a brown hood. So what it actually looks like is that the Leshie is kind of wearing a sunflower cap on her head, which is just super cute. And Pinecone Leshie is a pinecone with a smile and googly eyes. That
you can see it if you look closely in the front.
You can see closely if you look in the front. So the pine cone itself. This is the content I subscribed to. So the pine cone itself was something that I got from Jason Keeley, and he said it was pine cone Leshie when he gave me some Christmas tea. But the smile and the googly eyes themselves come from not a plushie, but honorarily deserves to be here. OG Cactus Leshie. So this was the Cactus Leshie that, this is a moon cactus with googly eyes and other little smiley face and stuff like that on it. This I got as a gift from Crystal Fraser. You may notice that there's some miniatures around Cactus Leshy. This Cactus Leshy was also a resting place for people to put various broken miniatures on. And that little bowl underneath it, it was, when there get to be too many, I took it off the little bowl underneath it, and then, or, you know, the catch plate, and then people could dump their miniatures in there. At one point, Merlin took the broken miniatures and painted the edges red. And then the idea was blood for the blood cactus and sacrifices that must be paid to Linda, and it got kind of dark, but I thought it was hilarious. So yeah, this is the OG Cactus Leshy. Unfortunately, I'm not great with plants, so after a couple of years, I accidentally overwatered moon cactus, but apparently moon cactuses don't necessarily always live that long anyway, so then Crystal drew me a picture of Cactus Leshy, which you'll see later on when I show you what my desk looks like at work, or at least what it looked like in 2018 as a way of getting some more plushies out there, because as many plushies as possible.
But the reason this started was Linda was saying the googly eyes from Cactus Leshy are on Pinecone Leshy.
Yes.
That's because if you know Leshy lore, then you know that when a Leshy is destroyed, it goes back to being a disembodied nature spirit and could be incarnated in a new Leshy body by the Leshy creation ritual.
So my own personal headcanon for my story of my various plant and inanimate object friends is that the Cactus Leshy, this moon cactus, as his spirit now lives on in Seedla and little Pinecone Leshy, and Pinecone Leshy is still figuring things out. So Sunflower Leshy takes care of Pinecone.
So how else would they have the same googly eyes?
Yeah, because how else would they have the same googly eyes? So, speaking of Leshies, this one is new, courtesy of Eleanor Farron's tendency to advertise adorable things on our Discord. This is a Cactus Squishable, and this is my newest friend, Cactus Leshy. This was actually only $20, which was, like, amazingly cheap for something this size, and it is the softest thing ever. I don't really have stories with this one because I've had this one for like 2 weeks. But yeah, this is my squishy Leshy friend, and she's really happy. You can see it in her eyes.
Yeah, you can see the little smile.
Yeah. So it now seems like a good time to talk, since we just talked about Leshies, to talk about my other obsession, which is, you probably heard me talking about how I love bats.
And if you've been on the Discord, there's also a bats channel.
So, we have this one. The largest of my plushies.
Yup, it's the flying fox.
My flying fox. We have a little brown bat, whose name is just Little Brown Bat, I believe.
That's right.
Let's see, there's Peekaboo. Peekaboo is named after the mascot of Bat World Sanctuary, which is a bat conservation charity that I regularly donate to. Peekaboo was an Egyptian fruit bat who was super spirited, and even though Peekaboo did eventually, the real life Peekaboo did eventually pass away, Peekaboo lives on sort of as the mascot of their organization. So that was certainly worthy of naming one of my plushies after. Let's see. There's Galaxy Bat. Galaxy Bat, I bought at a convention. And I honestly don't remember which convention I bought Galaxy Bat at.
It was HalCon.
It was HalCon. Okay, thank you.
Linda buys a new plush at each convention as sort of a, little thing for that convention.
Occasionally I'll buy, another small thing that isn't a plush, but usually it's a plush. So
might not be a plush.
Mark remembers it was Halcon.
It is Halcon.
What I remembered is...
Remember? Because we had the Canadian
Yeah, we had... That's
money.
right. Because Halcon gave us a per diem that was just a large chunk of money that we could spend on anything we wanted. So I used some of that money to buy...
Halcon was a really great con.
It was really fun, and they supported us.
Yeah, they treated us just like the other guests that they had, LeVar Burton and Anthony Head from Buffy, and the guy who played Pippin from Lord of the Rings, and like the guy who played the Blue Power Ranger, and a bunch of other people.
There were a lot of like actual legit famous people there. But Anthony was super nice. Like we had a soda explosion, and he immediately ran over and helped us clean it up.
That's true.
And then it was funny it was funny. I was like kind of mostly too shy to talk to him, but it was pretty awesome, and he was super nice. So yeah. Let's see. So then we have Floof in the category of bats.
Kitsune Warlock says we don't think we're famous. If we were really famous, I think that we would have more viewers, Dustin.
We are moderately sized fish in a little pond. But at any rate, this is Floof. I don't know why unlike all my other bats, I usually present Floof upside down, but Floof is a Honduran white bat.
Was that one of the bats you kickstarted?
Yes, Floof came from a Heather Sketcheroo's Kickstarter. I don't know if it's possible to still buy these, but Heather Sketcheroo's had this Kickstarter where it was like little Batty, where it was like my little Batty, and it was like the cutest Kickstarter ever, and so I had to give her money, and I'm happy that I did because Floof is super soft.
Yep. Plus, it's our only Honduran white bat, which is one of the coolest kinds of bats.
These two are. And we also have these two, who are both Halloween plush bats that I've had for quite a while. I don't have any particular stories with these guys. These were more just Halloween decorations that I've hung on to because of loving bats. Where did Radar go? I know I saw Radar before. Oh, here's Radar.
There's Radar.
It's just out of my reach. One moment. And last but not least, in my bat obsession, is indeed Radar, the one we talked about before, the one Mark's childhood plush, the 4th generation of Radar plushes, the type with the little beady red eyes and big flappy wings.
Yep. Radar was one of the few things that we had like unpacked when we moved here from Washington, and then moved here to Washington. And then Linda immediately had to leave to go to a graduation, so Radar and I hung out for like a week.
Yeah. And then Radar hung out on your desk for a lot of the process of making 2nd edition.
That's true.
Because I brought Radar over to you, and it was like, you should have Radar because this is hard.
You brought Radar over on one of those ridiculous weekends where Logan and I were there like 12 hours a day, every day, including the weekend, to make sure the classes were ready.
But most of the time, Radar is either at home, or Radar also sits on top of Companion Kiva made us. So let's see, who else do we have here?
Is there a hype train?
There's a hype train. There's a hype train. Plushie hype.
Plushie hype.
This is Pumpkaboo. Speaking of the last in my general bat-themed plushies, Pumpkaboo is a gift from Eleanor Farron, goddess of all things adorable. A very cute Pokemon, and I really love that it's the question of, are these a set of eyes, and these are a set of eyes, and Pumpkaboo has like 2 minds, or are these buttons?
It's part ghost and part plant Pokemon.
Yeah. So,
it's a combination of the spooky things that you like and the cute
I would think this is a pretty tiny one. It doesn't say specifically what size it's supposed to be on here, but It's really little. I've actually haven't played a Pokemon game with Pumpkaboo in it yet.
However, we own whichever of Sword or Shield has Pumpkaboo, and Pumpkaboo being in it was part of the reason
that's correct.
why we picked that one.
Shield it is. But we have a bajillion games, so I haven't gotten to that one yet. So this is Pumpkaboo.
And there is, in the office, probably still, unless someone removed it, because we've all left, like, a little drawing of Pumpkaboo and then, like, an arrow pointing that says Mark.
Yes.
I'm not really sure why.
And then a thing where I say I approve. Yes. I don't know, maybe because your hair reminded Eleanor of the foof on top of Pumpkaboo?
It's possible.
You're cute enough to be a Pumpkaboo.
Really?
Yeah.
A Pumpkaboo?
Uh-huh.
I'm not a Leshy, though.
You can be a Lushie. You're an honorary Lushie.
Wow. Wow, this hype train is doing awesome. Thanks for all the cheers and subs, everyone.
Oh, wow. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. This is amazing. Well, fortunately, I'm the one who's running this episode.
That's right.
Mark can focus his effort on giving everybody all the XP. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Elftro just gifted 5 Tier 1 subs.
Oh, man. I'm getting it. All right.
I'll just have to trust you to keep up with this.
Yeah, I will.
In the grand tradition of Pokemon, classic Pikachu. I got this Pikachu at Gen Con in the year that Pokemon Go was super huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. That year was really cool. I had an experience on the way into the airport because a lot of us Paizo folks were on the same flights, right? So even if we arrived separately at the airport, we kind of conglomerate together and just pass security. And our gate changed. So, and I saw Paizo CEO Lisa Stevens standing in front of the wrong gate.
It wasn't the old gate or the new gate. It was like, does she have her own flight?
Yeah.
That's different?
Yeah, so I went to check in with her, because she usually doesn't. So I went to check in with her and see, like, hey, our gate just moved to this. And she's like, oh, I know, there's a Gyarados here.
A legendary Gyarados. It was like
yes. There's
special.
a legendary Gyarados. And so then it was like, oh my god, so then it's like, hey everybody, there's a legendary Gyarados here. So then we all conglomerated
near I think only you came in enough time for it.
Yeah.
Rob was just seconds too late to get it.
Yeah. But, yeah, so Lisa told me where to find a legendary Gyarados, and I caught it in Pokemon Go. And that just shows you how much of gamers everybody is.
Yes, that's right. You might have the CEO helping you find a legendary Gyarados.
Yeah. Well, the post office right across the street from the Paizo office is a gym. So, I didn't stay into the game for, like, as super long as some folks did, but it was customary for a while for people to go out at lunch and go out in groups at lunch and cross the street to the gym. And I play Pokemon Yellow, so and watch the anime, and definitely, like everybody else, a fan of Pikachu. I also played a ton of Smash Brothers, particularly in college, and Pikachu was my main. So, so I also identify with this little guy for that. It's interesting because I find that, like, when I was first learning to play Smash Brothers with Pikachu, I'd always use the Thunderbolt all the time. But once you actually start playing with people who know what they're doing, I found it a lot harder to actually hit people with that. It was more of a like, ha ha, you weren't paying attention, so I sniped you, because it takes longer to set up. But yeah, Pikachu, great Smash Brothers character, adorable Pokemon.
Wow, this hype train is out of the station. Has it worn off yet? Everyone who goes in is going to get, like,
no, it has a minute and a half left.
It's at 200% at this point.
Next up, more recent.
Oh, wait, I have an answer to why I'm a Pumpkaboo. It's because of the fact that, that I was really behind on doing design passes for, the Lost Omens, line, because we were... Like, Logan and I were, for a time, it was just us, right? Steven was gone. We didn't have Liz yet to round us out, and we were just behind on everything. So, but I was like, I told Eleanor and Luis that by the time we get through and by the time we get through another book that hasn't been announced yet, that I will be caught up or I'll turn into a pumpkin. Which hasn't been proven or disproven yet, but at the time, they were pretty sure I was going to turn into a pumpkin. So that's what it is.
Oh, okay. Well, now we know.
Now we know.
Straight from the artist herself.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a purple plush of Luna, the talking cat from Sailor Moon. I picked this one up at a last Gen Con, actually. Although my interest in Sailor Moon goes back pretty far. Sailor Moon, I really enjoyed watching Sailor Moon. My great uncle actually was the director for the voice acting for the English dub for quite a few years. So I had a lot of Sailor Moon merch growing up, and I thought that was really awesome because it was like, I know somebody who does stuff.
And he's the actor for Melvin.
And he's also the English voice actor for Melvin, yes. So I where was I going with this? Yes. I received a level 5 hype train emote.
Show it. This
is the one we got.
Whoa.
Thank you, folks.
That's really cool. It's the hype punk. And some people got blob and fire.
Very cool, very cool. So
ooh, a punch.
And I also really enjoyed, so I've never really been great at drawing, but I did enjoy sort of drawing Sailor Moon characters over and over again with my best friend when I was in elementary school, and she and I would also run around the house pretending to be Sailor Scouts all the time, and that was pretty dope. That was my only experience with anything approaching cosplay until I did the whole Abigail Thrune thing.
Yeah, but that was a pretty awesome cosplay.
So, Luna.
Oh look, the Leshy has like a flower crown or something.
Oh, cool.
In Nicole's version of the Leshy, that's cool.
All right.
It's Chibi Tarasu.
This is Chibi Tarasu. From the sequel to the game Okami, a game that I really love. I haven't actually played the sequel, but I love the game.
I'm sure that if it has a chibi in it...
I'm sure I would like it. I just have so many games, it's hard to... I haven't bought Okami then yet. It's hard to justify buying it when I have so many games, but I know I'm going to at some point, let's be real. But this one was just too cute not to get, and yeah, I definitely recommend Okami. It is an amazing game with a really innovative art style. And the baby wolf.
It's not in the first one.
It's not in the first one, but if you play the first one, then you could play the sequel, and then there could be baby wolf.
No, Linda does not keep the plushies in a corner. They're throughout the apartment in different places. Like, you see that second chair that Linda's sitting in right now? The one I'm sitting in is the one I normally use at my computer, which I'm using a lot of the time now for work. And so, that cactus squishable was in the chair Linda was in for a while. I was just like, sitting next to me randomly as I was doing things. Or, I think Foof the Bat was hanging out upside down on my desk. Over by Linda, the Pikachu was sort of looking out over what she was doing. They're all around. She brought them to the corner so that you could see them today.
I needed them all within arm's reach. Well, some definition of arm's reach. You can see me struggling to reach them a little bit. But that's about as close as I can get for a pile like this. So, these two are birds that I got from my Aunt Linda, or rather that Mark and I got from my Aunt Linda. She wrote lovebirds on the tag. And these are intended to represent me and Mark, although, as she pointed out, they're inaccurate because Mark would never wear a scarf or a hat because Mark is always warm, and you would not. I've never seen you wear a scarf or a hat.
Not only am I always warm, if I needed to warm up, a scarf is the last thing I would use because it's so itchy.
Yep. Nonetheless, they're cute.
I mean, I'm not always warm, I guess. Like, right? In Boston, when it was, like, 20 degrees Fahrenheit, I wasn't too warm.
I've still never seen you...
I just didn't wear a scarf.
Yeah. Well, on the days where it was really cold, you might possibly switch from a short sleeve shirt to a long sleeve shirt under your under your sweatshirt, but you'd never wear like an actual jacket. I've never seen you wear an actual jacket in the 11 years we've been together.
Well, I mean, if you have a sweatshirt, then why do you need a jacket?
Speaking of soft and foofy knit things, one of my most recent plushies is this little rabbit, handed by my mom. My mom and her best friend are working on opening a combined knitting and tea shop. And she sent me this as a part of a package of beginner knitting supplies. And I have been learning to knit during this whole quarantine times. But this is super soft. You can't deny it's soft. Feel it. It's soft.
Let's see. Yeah, it's soft.
Yeah, see, it's soft.
Knit things are sometimes scratchy, but this is for sure soft.
And she's got a purple ribbon because my mom knows purple's my favorite color, and she's super soft.
Yep. Ular, that's right. It is a cool idea, and she has a lot of other ideas for things that they can do at the store too, activities and stuff like that. Unfortunately, given the way that things currently are right now.
Well, oh no! But she and her friend are like hardcore on the trying out new patterns and trying new recipes and stuff like that. They're really getting into that.
They have ideas even so.
Yeah. Well, no, they're not gonna open the shop.
Yeah,
right now,
I thought they can't quite open yet, even though they have so many ideas.
Yeah, well,
that seem really,
trust
really
me.
cool.
Oh, trust me. They're gonna generate even more ideas.
When we went back there over the holidays, her mom just kept having very slightly different recipes of delightful pastries or other things, and she was like, which one of these is better flavor for flavors that we could offer?
No, my mom is an amazing cook. And it's like we joke. It's like every time I come back from there, I'm a few pounds heavier than I was when I left. Because she's definitely always looking to feed everybody, and everything that she makes is delicious. And particularly around the holidays, which the time that I visit is always right around Christmas time. The house is completely filled with cakes and cookies and pies and pastries and literally everything delicious and filled with calories. So it's amazing. Last but not least of the plushies that I physically have here is Cubie. Cubie is a cubic. It was a gelatinous cube plushie.
Can everyone see that it has the little face, but there's bones and things?
Yeah, I have it
of all the people who have dissolved in Cubie.
There's a comment there, Quest. Oh my gosh, the Quest emoji. Yeah, people are saying they have this one. They see it at PaizoCon. So I bought this at PaizoCon myself. And one of the things that I learned about Cubie is that Cubie is exactly 5 inches to a side. You know what else is exactly 5 inches to a side? A colossal creature. And an opportunity that I had at PaizoCon with the delves, which are just kind of intentionally killer short events where employees are welcome to improvise what they're doing, is that this is a perfect size for a colossal creature. So after buying Cubie, I decided that PaizoCon that my delves would be people facing against a version of a gelatinous cube that was size colossal and scaled up to be appropriate for appropriate for
the delve?
For
killing people in the delve?
Roughly appropriate in its abilities. Oh, is it 6 inches to a side?
Whatever it is.
You're right. It's 6 inches to a side. It's 6 inches to a side, and it is what's colossal.
Because it's 4 squares, so if each square is 1.5.
No, it's.
What?
Yeah. Anyway.
No.
Square is 1. It's 6.
Right. No. Yeah, that's right.
Anyway,
the
point is,
5 by 5.
So it had extra devouring abilities and stuff like that. So and when you talk about the things here, so when I was running that game. And I think I still have the stats for the scaled up companion cube somewhere. What I said was that these two are shields, and these two are round shields, and this is more of a tarred shield or something. And that as it got angry, it would move these shields. So first this smile flips upside down, and then these ones rotated, so they were grr eyes while as they continued to damage it, and that's how I showed that they took hit point damage.
Did it eat them all?
No, they managed to survive, but it was not safe. Also, they were fighting on the deck of a ship that they were trying to save. so they couldn't just try to bail out, and it was just like they went onto the ship,
the kite show.
and then like this thing came out from the bowels of the ship, and then it was like, oh hi, and they're like, oh crap, and it was awesome. So that was one of my fond memories of a PaizoCon.
Linda, you thought you might not have a full hour's worth of plushie material.
I said I had somewhere between 40 minutes and 2 hours, and I have somewhere between 40 minutes and 2 hours of rambling. Thank you very much, Mark. Speaking of plushies that you may be familiar with, if you have stopped by Paizo-related stores, I have one of the Goblin plushes. This one, I generally call her Eki, after the goblin from the scenario Rise of the Goblin Guild, and in part because she's not a horse, and in part because their names sound similar, I usually have Eki riding on Elky in the office. Because it's perfect size.
But she doesn't have a Skittermander because they sold out of the purple Skittermander.
I do not yet have a purple Skittermander because they've been out of stock every time I've tried to order them. When they are back in stock, a purple Skittermander plushie will definitely be joining my crew.
Oh wow, Night Trace has one of each of the goblin tribes. But not a Skittermander either, because they sold out.
Oh no, Night Trace doesn't have a Skittermander either and is grumpy. Night Trace will eventually get our Skittermanders, and then we can be
Zathos
Skittermander
has
Buzz.
2 on order. Zathos, didn't you say one of yours came in, and is that 2 additional ones, or did I misremember and somebody else got their Skittermander?
Speaking of adorable things from pop culture, BB-8. Probably unsurprisingly, I love BB-8. You guys may have seen me in one of these episodes with with my BBFFs t-shirt that features Ray and BB-8 hugging each other, and so I got a BB-8 plush from, I believe this came from your parents?
I think so.
Yeah. And it's got like a cool weighted bottom to it, so even though it's round, it will stay in place really well. So that is my BB-8, and BB-8 is super cute. I know I've said the phrase super cute a lot, but that's one of my main
That's one of her catchphrases.
That's one of my main determiners for whether or not I will be happy if a plush thing is there.
Yeah, it can be a close call. For example, the Squishables, after buying the cactus, showed a 20% off sale, which had a mushroom leshy, and Linda was this close to ordering it, but then it actually had the face on the pot, and she was like, well, the face is on the pot, that might mean that like the pot is an animated object, but the mushroom is not a leshy. So it's marginally not quite as cute as if it was a leshy.
Yes. Hard decisions.
Yes.
Hard decisions. Yeah, well, there was also a mushroom that actually had the face on the mushroom, but that was out of stock, so I'm going to go back and check on that one
Might
later.
be back then.
Well, it was out of stock then, but they've been doing a lot of sales. I'll check back in a few weeks. Yeah, so BB-8. And there's another one you guys may have seen on Paizo.com, Red D20. Now, we didn't buy Red D20. Red
This
D20
is one of the best gifts at a white elephant at Paizo.
But there was a white elephant gift exchange at Paizo, and based on how they set up the rules and the fact that Mark and I were standing next to each other, and they randomly decided that Mark would be first and I would be last, or the other way around.
I think it was the other way around.
What's the other?
You remember being last because it was one of the white elephants where the first person also gets a final go around.
Okay.
So what it meant was that Linda first of all picked first, then I picked last, then also Linda got to do a thing again at the very end because of the way it worked out.
So because we couldn't help ourselves,
final steal.
We gamed the white elephant slightly with our picks, and we wound up getting 2 awesome things, which were this dice and a Lego fairy dragon, which Crystal said she had bought hoping that I got it.
Yes.
And I felt someone apologized after. It's like, sorry, we gamed the system. And people were like,
it wasn't gaming the system. I just stole from Linda on my turn because that made the item that I stole have been stolen enough times that it couldn't be stolen back.
Yes.
And let Linda do a thing.
Yeah, no, we totally gave the system. That may or may not be related to the fact that Paizo didn't do another editorial white elephant after that.
I don't think that we caused it to not happen, Linda.
I don't think so either. But they at least should, like, not put the split point between the two of us. Because, yeah, no, we totes engaged in collusion to get better white elephant gifts because the gamification instinct is real.
It's a game. Have to play the game. See, Numbat says that's how it's supposed to work.
Thank you. I appreciate retroactive justification for my actions.
I also think it's how it was supposed to work. Otherwise, why did they? What's the point of doing it if it's not supposed to be a silly game that you have people stealing and doing weird stuff?
We got cool stuff. What we gave up there was a tube of lip-plumping lip gloss. That,
was it like glittery lip gloss?
It was glittery,
that Adam Daigle wound up with?
Adam Daigle wound up with glittery lip gloss. That was fun.
It was just so ridiculously like teen girl glamour.
Yeah.
And just to fit along with that perfectly, I gave a gag gift that I had gotten in my college years at Quiz Bowl. Sometimes like the awards for doing well at Quiz Bowl are just like something really stupid on purpose that are meant to be dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And from one of them, I had gotten a book called Is Your Crush Crushing Back? 50 Love Quizzes.
Yes.
So when we did a white elephant, I thought, what would be a better thing to give to someone else than Is Your Crush Crushing Back? 50 Love Quizzes? I believe Owen Casey Stevens became the proud owner of that.
Not only is this a quiz book aimed at the preteen girl demographic, this is also a quiz book aimed at the preteen girl demographic that's like 15 years old with yellowing pages.
I mean, it's not all the way yellowed, but no. All of the things that are in it, the love quizzes are super, like, those out-of-date stereotypes.
Yeah,
it's like, you're too into him.
Yeah, no, it was, So it was funny because a lot of people brought, like, for some reason, poop emoji-based stuff.
Yeah, there were multiple.
Or, like, old talking head bobbleheads or other stuff like that. But
there were some things that were, like, really cool for the right person.
It was
decided
just a big mix.
I thought that they were supposed to be, like, a hilarious gag.
So, yeah, we totally brought the gag giftiest stuff we had. So that was fun. But back to our main topic of plushies.
Oh, yeah.
This is the reversible Grumpy Happy Octopus. I got several of these, including one for John Compton, and for a while I would use this to visibly illustrate my mood on my desk. If I was in a really bad mood, I would flip it to the Grumpy Octopus.
I remember when you had just one, then John really liked it. And like, he doesn't usually have plushies or
Yeah,
plushies,
I lent it to him for a while.
He took it for a while, and then you realized that to give more to more people.
Yeah, so then I took it back.
Oh, Night Trace has that one too.
So I lent it to him for a while, and then eventually I took it back and gave him one that was in colors that were more his colors than these two. So, yeah, I gave John one of those, and it's my Grumpy Happy Octopus friend. But I haven't been grumpy at work as much as I was at the time when I bought that, so Octopus is usually on Happy Octopus nowadays.
But I feel like having some kind of indicator, or I saw a tweet that somebody else, I think maybe Liz or Logan had said about, like, having a little battery that you could, like, you put up on your whiteboard, and then you put it at, like, full or half or low just to show how much energy you had, so that people would know to tone it down if you were on low.
Well, mainly it was just John and I would use it to signal to each other that, like, don't bother me. I'm not in a good mood today. But, yeah. Or, like, if we were talking about something that made us grumpy, we might take out the plush and invert it. Usually it wasn't like something that the other one... It wasn't like, you did this thing that made me mad. It's like, this thing that's happening in general is making me grumpy. Meh. So, yeah. That's Grumpy Happy Octopus. Next up is one of my Dragon Quest plushies. Yes, the Mage Slime from the Dragon Quest series. I am a big fan of Dragon Quest games. At the time I had invested a ton of hours into Dragon Quest IX. I had not yet reached the obsession that I've had basically since the lockdown started of 100% completing Dragon Quest 11 through every possible thorough thing, and then also playing
on
a
New Game Plus.
To do everything in the two-dimensional mode, but it is a really fun game.
What about Builders and Builders 2?
Yes, of course. Dragon Quest Builders and Dragon Quest Builders 2, also super fun. I just really like the Dragon Quest series, and a lot of things are cute, and slimes are their mascot.
Have you even played any of them except 9, 11, and Builders
yeah,
and Builders
I played,
2?
oh god, was it 4 maybe?
That's the one with the wedding.
What was the one with the merchant?
Oh, right. Or maybe 3 was the one with the wedding, and 4 is the one where the merchant is one of the characters, and then you switch and you play, like, the princess. And
yeah, that's the one I played.
Okay.
So Dragon Quest slimes, completely full of puns, and by puns, I mean the same 5 puns repeatedly, because they are good slimes.
Wari slime janai, Linda.
I'm not a bad slime. And that is a reference to the anime, that time I got reincarnated as a slime.
I mean, it's a reference to,
also, yes,
to Dragon Quest.
It is, but...
the anime referenced Dragon Quest.
Yeah, well, that was a fun one, too, because the slime is, like, ridiculously overpowered, and everyone loves the slime, and it's a good, like, if you just want the hero to win basically all the time, and watch lighthearted, absolute ridiculousness, and sometimes wonder what the actual heck you're watching, I recommend it. So yeah, that is a cool one. Why is Stop Monkey sad?
I don't know.
Oh, I see.
Enjoy your bananas and leave the language to others. That's why.
Also from Dragon Quest.
Kingmaker Ooze Edition.
And simultaneously being a bat figure.
Oh yes.
So
it's
of course
in both
I own
categories.
it. Draki plush. The good slime and the Draki plush are both from a convention also, because yay, conventions.
Didn't Dragon Quest 11 have a Happy Draki?
Yeah, it did. Not only did it have Happy Draki, but when I found the Happy Draki, I had to show you. And then when I went back to that town later, I had to show you again while giggling about how it was a cute Happy Draki.
Mm-hmm.
This is why games exist. And this is why I play them.
Small Batty Bet, Nicole
yes.
says.
This is like, it was a Draki that had been lonely, and then the Draki found friends. And the Draki was happy that they found friends, and the Draki was running around in circles with their new friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy for... I get happy for video game characters. I like watching them be happy. It's a thing. Speaking of video game characters, Junimo. This is a handmade Junimo plush from the Junimo from the Stardew Valley game, which I may have played Dragon Quest 11 a lot, but Stardew Valley probably rivals it because I played it and then I played it again partially through. And then I've been playing it with my brother. We have a shared farm that we've been playing.
But just to let you know how much she likes Junimos, remember how Linda just said she spent over 300 hours getting even the most banal achievements on Dragon Quest 11? She doesn't have all the achievements in Stardew Valley because she doesn't have the one for joining JoJo Mart where you destroy the Junimos building.
Why would I get that? I also don't have the ones for the arcade games because those arcade games are really hard and they're not why I play Stardew Valley. But yeah, I couldn't bear to... I started a file with a character named Evilor who was going to be a jerk to everyone and also side with JoJo Mart, but I couldn't bring myself to do it even then.
That's like what I did in Dragon Age Origins, where I started a file with a character named Evilor.
Well, that's where I got the idea to name the character Evilor.
Oh, this was based off of Evilor?
Yes.
But the problem with Evilor is that I was trying to be evil, but so many people thought I was being nice to them because I was trying to manipulate them.
Mm-hmm.
I wound up having, like, Liliana come over and being like, are you two-timing me with Morrigan? And I was like, excuse me, am I even in a relationship with you at all?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember saying anything remotely similar to that with Evilor.
Yeah.
And eventually she just kept bugging him, so he decided to lie to her just to get her to go away.
Games don't always...
tips for evil people.
Games don't always capture, like, when you're playing that manipulative evil, like, what you're trying to do.
But there wasn't even, like, a romance-flavored tag on any of the things that he ever said. He was just an evil dwarven noble who would betray anyone.
Now for more cute things. This is Nickel. Nickel is the older brother / slightly larger version of a little plushie that Eleanor has, and despite being a slightly larger version, Nickel is indeed that tiny. Nickel is a tiny plush Dimetrodon, and therefore, Eleanor named hers Penny, and so I decided that mine should be named Nickel. So thank you, Eleanor. Nickel is adorable.
Was that at about the same time that she gave me the really tiny white snake plushie?
I think so. Actually, no. I think maybe that was the same time as she gave me the Kappa.
Oh, yeah, the Kappa.
So, Eleanor also gave me this tiny Kappa. You can't see from this angle, but the Kappa does indeed have a little bit of a bowl on the top of his head. And you can see that he has a tiny little cucumber that he holds. And the Kappa.
Yep, they noticed it before you mentioned it.
The Kappa and Nickel are about this long, as are in the Dragon Quest ones are like this big. So these plushies are super tiny and super cute.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, this image is too big to show our faces at the same time. So, this is an image of my desk at Paizo in 2018. And we have a few other plushies on here that I don't have other images of. You can also see my wall of Lushies, which is a wall of all Lushie art that has ever gone through Paizo. So I have been continuing to add to this. This is just what it was like in 2018. But yeah, you can see a lot of the Lushie art up through there. There is the cactus Lushie that Crystal drew me, down just below the lichen Lushie, and there's a Doge which Finance, Chris Caldwell in Finance made that little Doge. It says, did it go down for a moment?
It went up, so I don't know what that means.
Yes. Made that, and it says, it basically says, much Lushie, wow. He just came over and unsolicited gave that to me. There's a thing that says Lushie Invasion. There's a lot of Lushies there. It's much bigger now. And, that art you can't really properly see, but that's in this image, but that's above my computer there, is one that shows me, with dragon wings trying to cast Form of the Dragon. And it says, Linda is a helpful wizard. And that's just a reference to a little meme that I had with Crystal Fraser. So I had that from her. So most of these plushies up here, you guys saw already. There's another hedgehog here, which is part of the same set as the hedgehogs that I showed before. There's a couple of tiny crocheted octopi that are little rattles that I bought. They were handmade from a woman that I bought at a convention. I can't remember which one it is.
People have a lot of things they're saying about this picture, Linda. First of all, we need a quest where Village of Goblins goes to war with the Village of Kappa, trying to steal their cucumbers for pickles. Mm-hmm. Then, let's see, there are people talking about whales, bloopers, a skull with an official Lushie inside of it.
Maybe that's because of the skull in the corner.
The books being visibly appealing, the tea collection.
Yeah, so that skull is Mark Moreland's, it's not mine. Right across the wall behind my computer, kind of in that direction of the skull to the right, is, I suppose, once we finally get back there, Mark Moreland's desk.
He is back, he came back in the middle of this.
And across from the Lushies is Ron Lundeen's desk. So, yeah.
Although in 2018... I guess it wasn't.
Yeah, but that's what it is now. Yeah, I like my tea collection too. It's fun to have all those different varieties. Most of the books there, as you can see, were my sort of first edition Pathfinder reference collection. I've also got a collection of comics from Hyperbole and a Half, which I really enjoy the Hyperbole and a Half comics. And then there's some paper toy dolls.
Are those the comics that, like, talk a lot about anxiety?
Yeah. And they're also just, they're just, her sense of humor.
Literally a lot?
Yes, a lot.
Yes.
If you've seen the internet meme about, like, a lot of something, one word with a big, fluffy, shaggy brown creature. That's from Allie Broche, the artist behind Hyperbole and a Half. And I've also got some paper toy dolls there too, and some random notepads. But let's see. Oh, cool. Some Monkey likes Hyperbole and a Half too. So other things on here. I have my Funko Pop Wally. I later got a Funko Pop Hermione too. I've got one of the Goblin figurines that Paizo sells with interchangeable hands and weapons. And there's also the cross-eyed owlbear in the back. This is Sir Derpington the owlbear. Because Sir Derpington may have perpetual derp face, but Sir Derpington is a distinguished gentleman, and you can tell that by the paper top hat that Sir Derpington wears, constructed from a few pieces of small coral-colored notepaper and copious Scotch tape. So that is
Wasn't that something that like some random or somebody had like given to Wes, but then Wes gave it to you?
And then I squeed over how cute it was, and then Wes said that I can't possibly love this plushie as much as you're loving it right now, and he gave it to me, and he was serious.
Mm-hmm.
But I gave Lex a plushie once. I gave him a plushie of a oh gosh, the creature from Final Fantasy that is...
Yeah, the Tonberry.
That's
why you sent him menacing photos of the Tonberry slowly advancing on his desk while he was gone.
Yes, I sent him menacing photos of the Tonberry slowly advancing toward his desk. And then I gave him a Tonberry plush, because he gave me a plush. We might as well trade. And Wes and I liked giving each other a hard time and being faux creepy, because... That's kind of how Wes rolls.
Cole says that I should order an Advent Harry Potter. They have 24 small Harry Potter Funkos. She may have a few.
The Tonberry I bought, and I don't have a picture of it here right now. I know I've got a picture of it somewhere. From
whatever
the
account that you used when you sent the progression, it must have been on your phone.
It's on my phone. I could dig it up, but it's not one of my plushies, so I didn't.
Yeah, it's not one of Linda's plushies.
But yeah, it was definitely the sort of the official Final Fantasy version, and it was about 4 inches tall.
Mm-hmm.
So, that is all of the plushies that I have either with me or that I have photographic evidence of their existence.
Several are asking which is your favorite.
Do I have a favorite child? No, but I just realized that we missed one. Where is Tolly? There's Tolly.
Where's Tolly? Tolly is the one we got at in Houston.
Tolly is a love cat that we bought in Houston. Tolly is one of my most recent additions to the collection. Tolly is named after a little plant spirit that we made in a game that Mark and I will ostensibly play once I finish building the setting. And we've only played one tiny little session of. Oh, and Yanpan? Yeah, I mean, that's... Oh, yeah, that's... I hadn't heard that term for it, but yeah, it's totally a loaf cat.
Yep.
Totally is cute. I do not have any... I don't have a favorite. I love a lot of my plushies. And as I've kind of gone over here... a lot of them have significance to me, either from being from friends or family, or being connected to causes or animals that I care about, or just they make me happy. I'm not going to pick a favorite, but I like plushies.
And Ryan says thanks for the wholesome content.
You're welcome. Thanks for voting for this topic, guys. This was a lot of fun. I was telling Mark before this that I spent longer preparing for this episode than I have for basically any other episode. Because it took a while to find pictures.
Get all those pictures ready.
Because some of it was researching 1990s Darkwing Duck plushies and stuff like that to find the best images I could for everything. There's a few others that I didn't mention here because I don't have any way to get any sort of image of them. Perhaps those will have cameos on future episodes once the office is open again.
Alright. Okay, so, bye YouTube.